Okay, so Marvel Zombies. Let's get into it. So, first things first, I think what this was in its 4 episodes, should have been 5 or 6, limited engagement was a bridging between MCU phases. Mainly because of the people involved, the characters involved, the old Avengers or previous phase Avengers, up to 3, are gone. Like Infinity is over, hence why they're zombies. All the major players, the ones we know and love, and all of the newer Phase 4 and this 5 situation are still alive. They're non-zombies. They're not infected. So I think there was probably some strategic situation about how do we infect the phasings of the MCU leading up to what's happening now and what's going to be going forward. It just seems too well placed for the fact of the new Avengers, right? The Thunderbolts kind of get picked off. I'm sorry, this is kind of a spoiler. I don't know. There's so many videos out already, whatever. But it just there's a graduation you can tell of starting off who's already infected. You can place them in a clear phase of the MCU, and how the show over the 4 episodes goes along, who's left remaining. And then there's a situation. First things first. This delivers on many of just on a comic book level, the fanfare of what we want these superheroes to do, which they could never do in live action, right? I need OP to mean OP, with exceptions clearly in this for story reasons, which is kind of aggravating when you think about it. You can't tease me OP and then give me plot holes that make no sense to these OP characters. Anywho, another thing. Is Wanda just going to always be this psycho, schizo bedrock of anything turbulent and just trash in the MCU? She's just always their default menace for these sort of, I don't know, whenever they want to dip off and do something, it's Wanda's the menace. Wanda is the schizo, which, if you think about Age of Ultron, she went from having one accent, and then from Infinity and onward, she was speaking regular. So I guess they were always telling us that she was a schizo because she clearly was operating on multiple personalities, let alone WandaVision. So the trailer already suggests that she's kind of wrecking havoc and all this stuff. She's the queen and whatnot. The OP fights were pretty dope. When they committed to what that meant, it was amazing. And then I guess for dramatic tension, really just story aggravation and annoyance, they would kind of let it slip through the cracks. I'll speak about that in a second. Kamala Khan she's essentially the audience in this. We're going along this with her. She's the lead protagonist. I didn't see Marvel, so I have no idea what her situation is. Something about this, she's basically the Green Lantern, and I don't know what. She's like a Green Lantern. She's just physical projection. She's just projecting things, and just kind of making her way through the thing. There are times where she was really hard to watch. I'm can you go? Go! Quit crying over it. We in a world where you've been dealing with zombies for 5 years or whatever. It's time to keep it moving. It needs to. That was really annoying to me. Where I'm okay. Even The Walking Dead didn't have moments where people. Well, I guess they kind of did, but you've got to get. We got to go. Move. She's no, and it's dude, they're done. Move. So that was kind of annoying, but I understand you have to do that. But there's a way you can play it to where there's dramatic tension, and then there's just annoyance where it's girl, come on, go. Anyway, there were some character choices here, very interesting. I don't know why you needed Blade. Let me get this play on words right. You had Moon Knight moonlighting as Blade. I don't know why that was necessary. Why couldn't it just be Blade? He even says I'm Blade, so it's Blade but Moon Knight. Maybe Moon Knight inhabited him because the zombie he was just I don't understand the logic there. it's not like this is like a day for night like this. It's not like this like it's if it was a vampire thing, I could see that where a vampiric virus has wiped everything out, so Blade would need to be like at OP status to do this. But the Blade we know would naturally be able to do what he was doing. Like he was like, I mean, this was like a fantastic, rendered. Like this was a great showcasing of Blade as far as just like super senses and like move, like it was like dope. And I guess you needed, that extra level to be like duck or I don't know. Blade has always been kind of like OP with his senses and reflexes, so you kind of didn't need that to happen. So I'm just confused on why that all happened. But hey, it happened. We got to see him. This is probably the only time we're going to see him, and you probably wouldn't be able to do this on screen the way that they did it here. So hey, cool. The ending, I have issues with. See, this is also, why didn't all the character designs match the actors who voiced them? Like, some of them were, like, spot on. I was even watching it with someone, and they were like, oh my god, that looks like Randall Park looked exactly like, he was like, oh, that's what you call, and it was like, Randall Park, you know what I mean? Like, Zhang-Chi was Zhang-Chi, Aquafina, like, boom, 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 boom. Wanda, not so, I was like, that's not Elizabeth Olsen. So, it's nitpicky, but, like, I don't know, let's just commit to everybody looking like their actor. Sure. Yeah, it all rests within, like, it's an interesting premise, and I guess it's not about spoiling, but just all of it, yeah, they find a way to like retcon Infinity, but in zombie terms, that has some sort of like a ripple effect across the earth. That in relation to this, it's just weird that they chose certain. It's weird that they chose two different sort of earth-altering events within a zombie apocalypse. So, yeah, it like I said, it's a weird OP but like plot holy thing. So it's like you have Infinity stuff in Thanos, but then he's like not Thanos with the gauntlet. So it was just it's odd that they chose to shoehorn that in there when it doesn't fully live up to the sort of power that it does, and you have certain characters being sacrificed that I kind of find like I just, back to my original thing, I just feel like it's a very, like, we needed to fully, like, we needed to actually show what's happened in the MCU via a zombie universe, like a zombie take on what's been happening. So, like, Black Panther is no longer in the equation. Just, he's gone. Like, it's just things like that. And I'm like, huh? And the way that we get the hintings of, like, OP Hulk, but then he's not, in a very frustrating way, almost in like a Dragon Ball Z kind of way, where you're like, okay, nothing should be affecting this person at all. The fact that he's holding like the entirety of the Infinity Stones within him, I don't know, man. It was a reach and a breach in a way that I was like, what? So, and then the ending, similar to, like, they keep doing with Wanda, they keep doing these endings that are so like, just like, and it's just like, there's a cliffhanger, and then there's just like okay, what are we, like, what kind of tease was that? Like, it's like always whenever you have movies or things where it's just like, and it was all a dream, I'm just like, come on, bro, like, can we like get some kind of resolution here? So to have it all be this thing, and then all of a sudden just like, yeah, Wanda's again, like, they never quite, the schizo, and this is a weird, they get to, it's like built in, because you're like, okay, if your lead menace is schizophrenic, then her plan doesn't need to make sense to like a properly functioning mind. But at the same time, I'm like, this motivation doesn't make sense, because if Wanda is as strong as she is, she doesn't need to like inhabit the entirety of the world of zombies in order to get this end result that we think she wants, because clearly she didn't even use the entire arsenal of this army to go after, Infinity Hulk. And it's all about transferring, harnessing power to right wrongs. Now, if this is altruistic, she's doing it so that through the power of infinity, she can erase this. But as we all know with Wanda, it's never really an erasure. It's more of like, it's a veil. It's a hologram. It's a farce. It's not real. So that's apparently what's happening again, in a very annoying situation. Because I'm like, dude, what the was all that for? Mostly a fun ride. Once again, OP for certain things. There were some great kind of body counts and endings and finishers. Really kind of let go in a way that Marvel hasn't. You really got to see what unhinged these superheroes can do. Namor is a complete freaking rabid beast of a force when he's unleashed in a certain format. Entertaining for that sake. The story got in the way of like how entertaining it could have been, but overall I'm not mad at it. It's mostly a good watch. You just kind of have to suspend the sort of why was that or what's going on there, and okay, just in a sense of like, and I will say it again and finish by saying I feel like they had to both account for almost retcon but jog memory and chart what's been happening in the MCU by way of this zombie take, this zombie universe, this zombie apocalypse. And if you watch it, I think you'll understand what I'm saying. But I think they had to just be like, let's zombie it out, and here we go. Like and subscribe for more reviews and reactions to movies, TVs, and trailers like this. And until next time, keep watching.